Hello everyone, Jonathan Schleck, EAS&Weather here with your Day 1 Outlook. I'm filling in for SPC Convective Outlooks again, so let's get to it. So, we have enhanced risk for severe weather today that covers parts of eastern Montana, far northeastern Wyoming, the western parts of North Dakota and South Dakota, western Nebraska, and far northeastern Colorado. We have a slight that covers parts of central and south central Montana, most of Wyoming, central and eastern Utah pretty much, western and eastern Colorado, going over here to the central parts of North Dakota and South Dakota, the far west central part and much of the eastern half of Nebraska, going over down here to much of Kansas, as well as northwestern Oklahoma, and the northeastern panhandle of Texas. So, and we have a marginal that covers parts of central Montana, southeastern and western Wyoming, the very far extreme southeastern corner of Idaho, east central Nevada. It also includes parts of Utah, northeastern Arizona, central and southern Colorado, northern New Mexico, much of the panhandle of Texas, much of Oklahoma, far eastern Kansas, northwestern Missouri, far northeastern Nebraska, western Iowa, the far western edge of Minnesota, and the eastern parts of North Dakota and South Dakota. And we have a marginal risk in the southeast states that include southeast Alabama, far northeastern Florida, central and southern Georgia, much of South Carolina, and eastern North Carolina. So, going to the tornado threat today, with a 5% chance of an isolated tornado today that covers far eastern Montana, the western parts of North Dakota and South Dakota, far northeastern Wyoming, the far northeastern corner of Colorado, and northwestern Nebraska. And we have a 2% chance of an isolated tornado that covers parts of central Montana, northeastern Wyoming, the central parts of North Dakota and South Dakota, a lot of Nebraska, eastern Colorado, central and western Kansas, and far northwestern Oklahoma. And we have a 2% chance of an isolated tornado over here that covers northeastern Utah, northwestern Colorado, and south central Wyoming. So, going over to the wind aspect of things, we have a 30% chance of damaging wind gusts to 58 miles per hour or higher in eastern Montana, the western parts of North Dakota and South Dakota, northeastern Wyoming, western Nebraska, and far northeastern Colorado, with a 15% chance of damaging wind gusts to 58 miles per hour or higher in central Montana, most of Wyoming, central and eastern Utah, western and eastern Colorado, the central parts of North Dakota and South Dakota, much of Nebraska, much of Kansas, northwestern Oklahoma, and the northeastern part of the panhandle of Texas. So, now, if we go to the black dashed areas, we have a 10% chance of damaging wind gusts that could reach hurricane force of 74 miles per hour or higher in the black dashed areas that cover central and southeastern Montana, southwestern North Dakota, western South Dakota, northeastern Wyoming, and northwestern Nebraska. Those are the black dashed areas, so to speak. Don't know whether it's updated on me. But with a 5% chance of damaging wind gusts to 58 miles per hour or higher that cover parts of central Montana, western and southeastern Wyoming, far east central Nevada, parts of Utah, the far southeastern corner of Idaho, northeastern Arizona, central Colorado, northern New Mexico, the panhandle of Texas, much of Oklahoma, far eastern Kansas, northwestern Missouri, far eastern Nebraska, western Iowa, the far western edge of Minnesota, and the eastern parts of North Dakota and South Dakota. And going down here, with a 5% chance of damaging wind gusts to 58 miles per hour or higher in southeastern Alabama, northeastern Florida, central and southern Georgia, most of South Carolina, and eastern North Carolina. So, going over to the hail, we have a 30% chance of hail of 1 inch in diameter or larger in northeastern Montana and northwestern North Dakota. We have a 15% chance of hail 1 inch in diameter or larger in central and southeastern Montana, the western half of North Dakota, central and western South Dakota, northeastern Wyoming, central and western Nebraska, pretty much, far eastern Colorado, western half of Kansas, northwestern Oklahoma, and the northeastern panhandle of Texas. And look at the black dashed areas. The black dashed areas there are across central and eastern Montana, the western parts, western North Dakota, the western half of South Dakota, west central and northwestern Nebraska, and the far northeastern corner of Colorado. The black dashed areas is where we have a 10% chance of seeing hail of 2 inches in diameter or larger, so that would be in the black dashed areas for the best chance of 2 inches in diameter hail or larger. So, and there's a 5% chance of hail 1 inch in diameter or larger in parts of central Montana, much of Wyoming, pretty much, the far east central part of Nevada, most of Utah, northeastern Arizona, most of Colorado, northern New Mexico, the Texas Panhandle, pretty much, northwestern Oklahoma, the eastern half of Kansas, northwestern Missouri, the far west central part and eastern part of Nebraska, southwest Iowa, and parts of eastern North Dakota and parts of eastern South Dakota. So, and we have a 5% chance of hail 1 inch in diameter or larger in parts of southeast Georgia, southeastern South Carolina, and southeastern North Carolina. So, going over to the summary, severe thunderstorms producing gusts to 80 miles per hour, large hail greater than 2.5 inches, and the few tornadoes are possible across parts of the eastern Montana into western portions of the Great Plains this afternoon and evening. Additional severe storms are possible over parts of the western U.S. and the southeast. So, that's today's outlook, and I will have the Day 2 outlook soon, so stay tuned for that. Regardless, stay safe in the affected areas today. I will have the Day 2 outlook soon, so stay tuned for that.